Good morning, everyone. My name is Byron Amos. I'd like to officially call the transportation meeting to order. As you can tell, we got a little bit audio difficulty, but we're going to try to push through it as they work through it. Wednesday, March 13, 2024, Transportation Committee called to order. Introduction of my members. Actually, to my far left have Councilmember Lewis, Councilmember Hillis, Councilmember Overstreet, and Councilmember Wan. Next, I make a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Agenda is adopted. Make a motion to approve the minutes. Motion been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Minutes is adopted. That moves us down the agenda to the public comments. You will have 3 minutes. And please be patient as I work through this list because I have a lot of yields and a lot of people signed up. So first, let's see, I see Mr. Reese Jr., that yielded time to Mr. Muhammad. Is that correct? So,
Stephen?
but this is how it was given to me. So, brother, Anthony Muhammad. Okay, but it didn't come to me like that because the pages are not numbered. So, Mr. Muhammad, are you here? Mr. Muhammad is not here. Okay, we'll come back to him. Okay, let's give him time to get in. Okay, so I do see Mr. Council, Stevie Council.
Good morning. I'm Stevie Council. I'm here to stand in support of the committee voting in favor of renaming Concourse D at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport the Michael Hollis Terminal. I am a resident of Atlanta, longtime resident of Atlanta. I graduated from Mays High School, and I have a personal testimony of Mr. Hollis that which caused me to come here today. When I was in high school, I was celebrated for having won the International Science Fair and Engineering Fair a couple of times in 1983 and in 1985. And Mr. Hollis wanted to recruit me to attend his alma mater, Dartmouth College. And he contacted the academy coordinator at Mays High School and got in touch with me and invited me to dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. And I didn't know at that time where I wanted to attend college. And he said, you should go to Dartmouth. And he said, I need to send you up there so you can meet with my favorite professor. And he flew me on Air Atlanta to New York, and from New York on Eastern to Dartmouth. And I did not wind up choosing Dartmouth. I wind up going to Brown. But from that occasion, Mr. Hollis became a mentor. He also became a mentor of a dear friend of mine who's also an Atlantan through law school, and she's now a real estate developer in New York, and she's developing World Trade Center 5. So I just wanted to come, and I don't know how many members of the council or the transportation committee were aware of the impact of Mr. Hollis as a legacy as he lived here, and I just want to stand and come and voice my support for you all creating a legacy in his honor here in the city of Atlanta at the airport. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir. Next on the list is Dr. Arnold.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Christy Michelle Arnold. I am also here in agreement or in support of renaming Terminal D at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the Michael R. Hollis Terminal. The reason why I gave my full name is because Michelle is actually named after my uncle, Michael Hollis. So Michael Hollis was my father's youngest brother, and I actually was on that original flight, the first flight that Air Atlanta took to Memphis and then eventually to New York on that February 1st, 1984. I was the youngest person on the flight. I was 5 years old, flying with my family. So obviously that was a tremendous moment for my family. I'm very proud of the fact that my Uncle Julius has done his part to keep my Uncle Mike's legacy alive. And so I am obviously standing here in agreement of renaming the terminal after Michael R. Hollis, recognizing that what my uncle did at the time was obviously groundbreaking and trailblazing here in the South, recognizing that a man of color starting his own airlines and making sure that every seat felt like a first-class seat. I was 5 years old, but I still recognized the magnitude of what was happening and really grateful that my family wanted me to constantly understand that this is something that is a part of your legacy. And so now I stand here as someone who spent a lot of time with my uncle, many games, many Monopoly games where he taught me how to play the game of life, many times where I lost because he taught me very well that this is how the game works. You gotta learn life. And so I learned many lessons in addition to wonderful times with him, learning to cook and learning to dream big and think big. And so to know that that legacy was sitting at my dinner table and was a part of my village that raised me, I, of course, would support anything that allows that stamp to be a part of Atlantic history. As my family, we are native Atlantans. I'm a fourth generation native Atlantan. So I am in great support of one of my namesakes having this terminal renamed after him. And again, my name is Christy Michelle Arnold.
Mr. Chair, my name is Dan Colber, and I want to thank you for this opportunity. I do ask for a favor. You have a big agenda. I'm a lawyer. I went to law school with Michael, and I have a tendency to talk too much. So if you just raise your finger, I will shut up when I'm past my 3 minutes, okay? I met Michael Hollis in law school, and he is the most inspirational person in my entire life. I say this as a 70-year-old. He not only built Air Atlanta from the seeds of his own mind, from nothing, into one of the most innovative airlines that ever existed. He then went on and did a bunch of other things, and people are here, they know about it. He saved Grady Hospital, as far as I'm concerned. He saved the Virgin Island Housing Authority, as far as I was concerned, and he was a trailblazer. But what he did at Air Atlanta was he leveled the playing field, because to this day I have people coming to me to raise money, and I say, well, what's the status? And they'll say, well, just last week I talked to the CFO in such and such a company and waiting to hear, and I chuckle because Michael would go 4 or 5 times a day to raise money. And then he would follow up and he would come in at the top. And then he would say to me at the point where he would finally get the meeting, he would say, now our work begins, because up to that point, he was simply leveling the playing field. And when I would see Michael talk to people, young people, he would become a teacher. I'll give you one example that applies to Concourse D. He'll start a lecture to young people, high school, and he'll say, do you know what collateral is? And some would know, some wouldn't. And then he would tell the story that he taught me that the first thing in raising money is to get the decision maker on your side so that he or she will be honest and say the real things that you have to do to get the money. And so we had a lender called Heller, which is no longer in existence. And Michael used his charms and his skills to persuade the decision maker. You know, Michael, I like you, but you're going to need collateral. You're going to have to help me and put something in the file. And what Michael did was an example of the ingenious and genius way. He went out to the end of Concourse D, and he looked out there, and he saw that we parked our planes. We had five Boeing 727s. And at that time, if you had a parking spot at Concourse D, you could use that as collateral to get a $2 million loan. So he said, you know what, Colbert, we could probably squeeze in another plane at the end, use that, and get the 1.5 million. And in order to do that, he had to go out and get the world's longest jetway. And thank you. I'm going to leave this. Can I leave this with you? Okay. And also, here's a photo of one of the beautiful planes, and I would love to see that blown up. And as a testament to the inspiration that Michael has done for millions of young people, that if you believe in an idea and you persevere, you'll succeed. Who wants this? I like it. May I quote?
Ms. Ivy.
It's kind of hard coming behind Mr. Culver, but good morning. My name is Alicia Ivy, and it is with immense gratitude that I am here with all of you today. I want to thank you for your unwavering commitment, because all of you lead each and every day with passion and purpose for the great city of Atlanta. I am here for the consideration of one of the most important Atlanta iconic entrepreneurs in aviation history, the native Atlantan, Mr. Michael Hollis, founder of Air Atlanta. In 1984, at a young age of 27, our native son, Michael Hollis, launched Air Atlanta, a luxury airline that was the first in the nation to be owned and controlled by an African American. Air Atlanta's distinctive gray, blue, and burgundy Boeing 727 offered flights to major destinations such as Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Washington, D.C., on time and in style. Air Atlanta's jets sported roomy seats, plenty of leg room, fresh, fine food on fine china, prize-winning wines, and gourmet meals. It was also a nationally owned, Black-owned airline at a time when less than 320 Black-owned businesses was in our country at that time. Mr. Hollis's story is a testament of the tendency of the human spirit and his unwavering commitment to the city of Atlanta. Mr. Hollis's story is not only an Atlanta history story, not only a Black history story, but it is an aviation history story, which is nothing short of iconic. When traveling through the global gateway of the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, it is only fitting that people from all walks of life learn about his significant contributions to our great city, the nation, and aviation history. I ask for your consideration for dedicating a special recognition in honor of our native son, trailblazer, history maker, iconic businessman, Mr. Michael Hollis. I want to thank you all for your time. I want to also say to my airport colleagues, thank you for being here. And I would like for you all to know that Mr. Hollis represents the best and brightest of Atlanta.
Mr. Farris Jr.
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today to advocate and ask that this great city council rename Concourse D after one of Atlanta's most outstanding citizens. We've heard a lot of the great things about what Michael has done in life, but if he did nothing else, founding Air Atlanta was enough. No one else has done what Michael, no other black person has done what Michael Hollis has done. And in the last, I'd say 30 to 40 years, no other white person has done what Michael Hollis has done. There are others that have owned charter airlines, but none have owned a major. So that within itself is important. Symbols are important, and this is a symbol that we should have no problems erecting. When kids walk through Concourse D and wonder who Michael Hollis is and they get that answer, that will serve as an inspiration. Hey, that's something that I can do. It's something that not only I can do, but it's something that maybe as a young black kid I can aspire to do. As I said, if he did nothing else, I don't know if we here in this room appreciate what it took to build and fly a major airline in America. That's why you don't see many new ones being created now. If anything, the number of airlines is shrinking. It's a very hard thing to do, and it's a testament to anybody who would do it, but especially one coming from the history in this country where it's not been easy for people who look like me to have an idea and to get it funded and started. That within itself is an acknowledgement that we should be happily able to acknowledge. And so I humbly request that we rename Concourse D after one of Atlanta's greatest citizens, Michael Hollis. Thank you.
I am that I am a nigger, king of kings. I am not a believer in religion. I recognize that we must get back to the knowledge of self. We need to know that our ancestors gave the knowledge of our culture, our civilization, shared it to the peoples of the earth. And we were the first people of greatness in all the sciences. Now, why we like the condition we find ourselves today? Why is it that we find ourselves in the bottom of the economic barrel? Why do we find ourselves at the bottom of the education system? Why do we find ourselves living on the street? Why do we find ourselves in the 21st century? Council members, you still can walk outside of the city hall and see my brother and sister on the street. When I was driving down, a lady had her children on a tent. These are the ones they call ex-descendants of slave children. They gave us the emancipation in 1865. 1868, they gave us the 14th Amendment. Supposed to give us the opportunity, just like you give to the Caucasian. You're supposed to give it to the dark, anti-matter people. They gave us these laws. They got today. Mr. Biden said last year, I quote, in February, the Black History Month, the dark matter, anti-matter history. Carter G. Woodson wrote a book, 1933. He said, I don't want you to water down my writings. I want to talk about the conditions of my people. And I want to talk to my people, W.E. Du Bois, how we can elevate their condition. But what did they say? If you water it down, I'll give you some money. I give you opportunity and nearness to me. Why do I bring that up? Mr. Biden, the president, said last year, I quote, "I know who the real power is." He had asked the fraternities and sororities to come to the White House in February of last year for the Black History Month. And why did he say, "I know the real power"? Because he said, "I am not stupid." But look at your condition today, brothers and sisters. You got the 50 million people look like us in America, the top 10%. Not 50 million people, the top 10%. Would be about 5 million. Who is they? The sororities, fraternities, the members that are affiliated in the churches. They all give their allowance to the government for the benefit to be there when the correspond for the interest of saying, "I know how to control the people." Y'all remember Willie Lynch? Willie Lynch talk about controlling the people that look like myself and the majority of people sitting out here. What did he say to the plantation order in 1812? Let's know some history here today. He said, "Look, y'all losing your property. You're killing your people. I got a plan how to control them for the next 1,000 years. How was he going to do it? He said, "We're going to divide them based on the light skin, the dark skin, and the brown skin." And look right here, when I was traveling in Louisiana, went to a Creole place. They still got the brown bag test, Miss Overstreet. And I'm asking you, why is it that in the 21st century we can't get the city of Atlanta? Mr. Dickens, I have a problem on my street there in Terre Road. You paved my street southwest of County Line in 2010. Mr. Martin said we're going to continue to pave the rest of it, Brother Muhammad. Mr. Martin is dead, and you hadn't paved the other part of Terre Road. We recently had the mayor to pave Butler Road, which I had said he did a great job. But what about Mr. Solomon and his assistant, Greg P. Moore? For a whole year, Miss Overstreet, I sent you emails. They come down here, Mr. Warren. I sent you email. You have for Woke for a whole year, didn't allocate no services to come and do the work. That had just come out this year, and the works are very poor. Why is it? Because when I travel down Niska Lake, Cascade Road, Danforth Road, New Hope Road, Mr. Mayor, you know it, Mr. Mayor, we have seen you on Butler, and we haven't talked about it. But what about the other roads I'm naming? This is where the Boulay, sorority fraternities that look like me live. They always get the support of the city hall. When Mr. Reed was in there, they were paving his yard, paving and work on his own property. But now when it's the constituents, they're paying the taxes outside of the areas I named, we can't get the support. So I would say, I got the names and shared it with Ms. Overstreet again. I'm going to call the Negroes, and we're going to see what they're going to do. But let's be serious for a moment here. You got the Atlanta airport workers. And the Atlanta airport workers should not be suffering because they can't make enough money to make their livelihood for their family. They should be able to get them a secondary job. When you agree with that, members of council, if they can't make enough, but if you're going to have the administration, I don't know if you cut the time down to have 5 minutes a moment ago, and you usually keep the things where I can say it. I don't know why you turn that off, but let's be clear here today. These workers shouldn't be out here begging, because what I said, if they're at the airport, Mr. Mayor, and they need a secondary job, they got to ask the administration. And then they say we got to study it and evaluate it, determine whether or not we'll let you have it. What kind of plantation you running at the airport? It's not fair that you members are not hearing what these people are crying out today for. Because I was with Brother last year when we were talking about the workers at Watershed Management. They got some things we had spoke about. But then I have all these people coming here today to try to get y'all to listen and adhere to what they say. Some of you will do, Mr. Antonio. But now, why is it that in the 21st century, these people have to beg for support? And we're living in this black Mecca, the city that's too busy to hate. You hate these poor people? You hate your public workers? I'm going to end it with this. Martin Luther King, 1968, went to Memphis, Tennessee. Why did he go to Memphis, Tennessee? He had a friend, like a lot of these got friends, like Devon Robinson is being a friend of these brothers and sisters at the airport. He went to, and they told me, you come to Memphis, you might get killed. He said, my friend called me. And I'm going because my friend needs my support and march with the workers. And he went, and it blew his brains out. This is Martin Luther King. Now, where's those workers today? Where's those people today? The family of the king here talking about his service at the airport. Why can't you speak up for the poor man? He spoke up for the poor man. I greet you as I did not. Assalamu alaikum. Maytrot Hotel. I say, and I say.
Before we go to Mr. Lewis, we're coming to Miss Overstreet.
Before you leave, Brother Anthony Muhammad, I want to thank you for coming down and always advocating for Southwest Atlanta. I've had those conversations with ATL DOT many times, and I appreciate the fact that you're not just advocating for your street, but for all the streets that you see every day. I really do. And I just want you to know that I am still in this fight with you to make sure that not only are they resurfaced, I mean, Campbellton Road hadn't been resurfaced since 1993, 97 in its totality, and it looks like it. So I definitely want to fix the Niskey Lake issue as well. I've said that publicly over and over again, and I've shown you, I pointed out to you today, Commissioner Cavanis and Deputy Commissioner Greg Moore, and I really appreciate the fact that you come down to make sure that we have what we need in Southwest Atlanta, and we'll just continue to work on it. Thank you very much.
Brother Anthony Muhammad, you mentioned my name, so I want to reply directly to what you said. I don't think our workers should ever have to come down here. I think one job should be enough. I think one job, 40 hours a week, should be enough to have a person living in the city of Atlanta. And so I'm fully in support of our workers who are down here today. And I know that a city job is a job people dream of growing up. And so whenever they get a good city job, and the way we encourage people to get good city jobs is that we got to make sure people are able to get the proper stuff. And Atlanta can do it right. We don't have to be like other cities in the South. Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Robertson, and Dr. Robertson, I see you have two people yielding time to you as well.
Thank you, Chairperson and the body. What you have in front of you is, before we start this off, is there's a list of all of these employees here today. So therefore, we want to make notice. Many of you may be here after this, or you may decide not to run for office again, but we want to put this on notice on television on this day, March 13th, Wednesday, 10 a.m., that to let you guys know that if any one of these employees are retaliated against, we are putting this on notice because they have been threatened that if they come down here that they would lose their job, not be put up for a promotion. Yes, they've been told all this, so we want to put you guys on notice, and we leave here, we plan on going to the second floor. I'm sure they are watching over the mayor's office. We want to get them a list as well because we will not stand for this. Before I get into it, I would also like to give my support and love for Mr. Michael Hollis. Everybody have spoken on those things. I echo those same sentiments. What we have here today, like Brother Muhammad stated, Councilman Lewis and Antonio Lewis and I met with Commissioner Makina Browning with Watershed. They were facing some of the same issues, but mainly about their 412 that the airport received from the federal government during COVID-19. They have taken these people money, just like airport did, but Ms. Browning made it right day one. We went over there, she made a promise, they got their money, next paycheck, retro paid, so the airport can and should do the same thing. I don't care who's involved, who has to make that decision, whether it's the HR commissioner, Ms. Tarlisha Smith, whether it's the mayor's office, whether it's Lisa Gordon. I understand her name have changed, but it's still the COO. Somebody need to talk to the airport maintenance workers today about their money. Mr. Hillis, Mr. Warren, Ms. Overstreet, Mr. Antonio Lewis, Mr. Byron Amos. They were given this money. These people were working during COVID-19, very dangerous conditions. Even before that, they had not received hazard pay. I'm sure the airport would agree that one of the most dangerous jobs out there is the maintenance workers. And they not getting hazardous pay? So I gotta say this because we're in the 50th year of Maynard Jackson, right? We all love Maynard. I love Maynard. Y'all hear me say this, but Maynard also had to be faced with Public Works threatening to strike because they didn't want to do right by him at first. He was kind of made to do right by him because they were threatening to strike. Airport maintenance is willing to say, hey, airport, you can't operate without us. So we will not be willing to work if you don't pay us. That's what needs to happen in 24, and that's what will happen because y'all don't care nothing about them. I watched the leaders of the airport not speak to these people when they walk by them, but they'll get up here and tell y'all, oh man, we don't stand for that. They didn't even speak to these workers. Now, Mr. Michael Smith stood down there, but the rest of these bullshit, six-figure people working down there said nothing to them, nothing to them. If you don't like black folks, and if you don't like poor folks, get out of Atlanta, because I'm intentionally about everybody that is treated bad, whether you gay, straight, but I'm a black man, so I'm intentional about fighting for my black people. Some people want to be ashamed to say that. No, I stand for that. My white brothers and sisters, if you mistreated, I stand for that. My Asian, Latino, gay, straight, but today, we are here for a majority black and brown that are mistreated badly. We want that 412 or that 630. We believe it's 630, but it's the 412. Mr. Amos and the rest of the people out here who watching and listening across the world, they changed the name from airport maintenance to facility, Ms. Overstreet, but the money was given for airport maintenance. Aviation. So they done reclassified them to out of aviation until, facilities, trying to take the money. It's so funny that once they took the money, Mr. Antonio Lewis, all these AGMs started coming out of nowhere. All the directors, everybody getting six figures, they creating jobs out of thin air, but ain't no money though. Miss April Borders need to be called to the front. She need to be fired today. I'm talking about today though. There's other people out there need to be fired as well. You're gonna hear from other people that are talking about how they reported this to April Borders, and my HR team is here today. They reported sexual misconduct, and they put them on the same shift as the predators who have exposed themselves sexually, texting female workers 2, 3 in the morning, and you put them on the same shift with these guys? Come on, man, are you serious? But the airport, they get up here and lie and say that they happened. But these folks got proof today. Oh God, they got proof today, and they are here today. Do you think they want to come down here and be fighting as grown men and women, fighting for more money, taking a chance of, man, we might lose our job? Many more would have came, but the airport came out there about 20 deep, you know what I'm saying, the other day and told them, please don't go down there. Oh, y'all embarrassing us. Please don't go. but ain't nobody talking about paying them their money. Everything going up in the world, but we're gonna stick to Atlanta except for salaries. The airport maintenance, that's not the only people that are being downtrodden, disrespected and treated bad. It's other workers in City Hall. And if y'all wanna come together, let's come down here and do the same thing. But today, maintenance need to be made whole. You got people, Mr. Antonio Lewis, that were forced to work during COVID. They ride 5 deep in some trucks. During COVID, they made them ride 5 deep, but the people that were giving them direction, like April Borders, was at home. Not coming to work during COVID. But you're making these people come to work riding 5 deep. And when they tell you they've been exposed, Mr. Hillis, still got to come to work. Put your notice in, they want to verify this. Hey, ma'am, this person been exposed to COVID-19, you still want me to come to work? They have been disrespected long enough. Look at these men and women. Can y'all please stand up for me, please? God forbid that they ever decided, God forbid that they ever decide to take matters in their own hand in the violent way as opposed to trying to come down here and do it the right way. Sometimes, man, enough is enough. I'm coming down here to try to do it the right way, not saying let's knock them across the head. I'm trying to do it the right way, Miss Anita Williams, but y'all don't even respect the right way. Imagine if they got mad and want to go the violent way. We're trying to preach nonviolent, but y'all constantly disrespecting these people. Enough is enough. All of y'all make 6 figures in here, except for them. They don't get no respect, no fair pay. But we live in Atlanta where King and Maynard, y'all want to scream that when it's convenient, but we don't treat them that way. Come on, man. Miss Ira, can you come up here? I can, you know what I'm saying, so you can stand with me these last, you know what I'm saying, this last minute, Miss Ira, please, because we forgot to get you signed up. As you see, she's a hero. No, I'm sorry, she's a she-ro. So, Miss Ira, before we close out, is there anything you want to say, Miss Ira?
Yes, there is. I probably shouldn't be here today, but I'm here because these are my brothers and my sisters that I talked about earlier. These are not all of them. This is just a few of them. But they have been mistreated at Aviation Department. We have contractors that we work right alongside of. The contractors are getting hazardous pay just for being on the airfield. My brothers and sisters aren't getting it. We have what we try to do is the environmental pay. Everybody looks down on us about environmental pay. We don't control the environment out there. All it takes is one time for the FAA operator and the pilot to have a miscommunication. That could be our lives.
Excuse me, ma'am. You're over your time, but we hear you. We hear you. Councilmember Lewis.
Dr. Robertson, thank you for coming down here. And I want to say to our airport, to the folks taking care of our city, because we know that the airport is the economic driver of our city. I want to say thank you for being brave to come down here. I understand retaliation in the city of Atlanta. If you know me, you know I understand it. If you look at what's going on in my life right now. So we understand exactly how that could happen. So the braveness of folks to come down here is amazing. It also lets you know that this is a real issue. The notes I tuck in this and the things, we know who can fix this, right? When you mentioned last year, because I almost forgot about last year, because it got fixed that fast. It got fixed within 10 minutes. The workers, the watershed workers, watershed employees, people serving our city, said that they wanted 412, and Commissioner Browning gave it to them before we left within 10 minutes. We do know that the administration, we do know that the City of Atlanta Airport, they can actually fix this ASAP. I've seen it. They make their own money. They create their own stuff. And so what I would like to see happen, because we've seen it happen before. This can happen. We've seen it happen. Commissioner Browning didn't have to go talk to anybody. She told us in that room she didn't have to talk to anybody. She asked the employees, she negotiated with them right there. She said, do y'all want this or this? They said 412. And so I would like to know at the airport, before I even say what can happen, I would like someone from the airport to let me know if we have the authority to do that.
So is it your belief
Now,
that
that's
a
a question.
commissioner can
That's
make a
that's-
decision without nobody else?
Mr. Robinson, that's Dr. Robinson. That's a question to the airport. I would like somebody from the airport to let me know if we have the ability to do that, because that's the same thing I asked her. And so we
Mr.
can.
Michael Smith is the senior general
I'm gonna ask Mr.
manager at the airport, so I'm sure Mr. Smith
I
can,
apologize. I
can speak to
apologize.
this.
I apologize. I know this Commissioner. I know this is Councilmember Amos' meeting, so I'm gonna go through my
I'm
quick
sorry.
things, and then I'll ask him if I can ask the airport a question. So, when we talk about COVID pay and hazard pay across the country, we do know that the city of Atlanta was not answering their emails when hazard pay was getting sent. I was the person sending the email. I worked for ASME, trying to get hazard pay during that time period. So that's why I'm so passionate about this issue. I was the communication director for ASME. This is what I was doing, so I know y'all didn't get it. Another thing, we've seen this before. We've done it right. Let's get it right. Thank you. And my question and I want to know, Councilmember Amos, if I can ask this question from the aviation department or from the administration, same question that I asked Commissioner Browning, and so I know we can answer it, if we can make this 412 or the 630 happen.
We would like to hear from the airport. I mean, they here. We can't let them get out of here without asking them that.
And that's the administration or the.
What I would like to do is get through public comment.
Okay.
Because that is a set thing, a rule. And then at that time, and I'm looking at legal, because I don't want this to get into a specific personnel issue that actually may hurt them. But let's get through public comment, and then we'll go from there. But I would like to know that answer as well.
Thank you again for coming down here. I know this man.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you again for coming down here.
Next on the agenda, we actually have Mayor Reed that has joined us. Former Mayor Reed, you have 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, how you doing, Doctor?
I'm sorry, sir. I was just informed that former elected officials can go up to 10 minutes.
Okay, well, no, I'm gonna keep mine to 3 because I know how important this body is. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I rise in support of the effort to rename a terminal after Michael Hollis, the founder of Air Atlanta Airlines, which was founded in 1984. His story is one of the great Atlanta stories. It is a story of grit and determination, and he launched an airline, think about it, in 1984 when Ronald Reagan was still president of the United States. And he did something that only one other black man in the United States of America had thought to do. And I was alive during that time. I know most of us were. And it was a source for inspiration. It's also a source, a story of brotherhood, because his brother is a man that we all know and love, Julius Hollis. And when he started the airline, he went to see his brother Julius Hollis, who was working at the Import-Export Bank, and said, "Brother, I have an idea." And they built Air Atlanta, and it was something very special. And I hope that this body and the full council and the mayor and the city will think it not robbery to honor that kind of life story, and to make sure that every little girl and every little boy knows that there was a man named Michael Hollis who built one of the most important black-owned airlines in the United States of America. And he did it right here in the city of Atlanta, a place where you bring and build your dreams. With that, Mr. Chairman and members of council, I strongly and lovingly and warmly urge that you support all efforts to make the designation of one of our terminals a reality. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Yeah, what's the last?
Two lists here, and it's not last on either one of them, so.
Go ahead. Let me go ahead. Good afternoon. My name is Venetia Harris. I'm an advocate of City of Atlanta. Been involved all my life. Grew up in Eagle Home, grew up in Pittsburgh, Civil League. Started working with Weed and Seed when it first started. Big advocate. Participated at Parks and Recs, worked in all the departments, sanitation, watershed, get to my last department, aviation. Been with City of Atlanta for 15 years. I worked so hard, and back in the day, we was raised. I love my job. I want to give City of Atlanta 40 years of my life and bring my kids through it because that's what the culture was. That's what we was raised under. My last year of my 15 years, Ms. April Broadus became my HR director. She brought me back in because I was on leave. Came in, she stated, April Broadus. I'm sorry, HR April Broadus. She came in, it was several incidents, it become harassment. Verbal, she was being very disrespectful, calling my personal cell phone, harassing me. So I started reporting it downtown to Mayweather Employees Relations, reporting to, at the time, the commissioner was Sharon Dickerson. She put me in place to put me on out that department to another department so I was able to make money to survive and live for my kids. Once she left commissioner, Ms. April Brothers brought me back. Again, the sexual harassment started coming in from Stephon Robinson and Daryl Miller. Then it became a harassment from Mr. Rodney. He's no longer with the Department of Aviation. The attacks, I was pushed down the hill by my supervisor that I actually went out on leave. And at all these times, every day, I was calling down to the commissioner that was Jeffrey Norman. And I was complaining to him about what was going on, showing videos, sending out emails. April removed me from able to see my chronos, able to log in with my email address. So, cause she stated that I sent too many emails downtown on complaints.
I think we're talking about your very specific personnel issue.
This happened to multiple people. I have also been observant of I'm speaking on Ms. April Broadus and the management team, Daryl Miller, Stephon Robinson, Jerome Bridges. At that time, Mr. Rodney was there too.
Okay, hold on, because I'm gonna start your time back. So just
Okay.
keep it above. Don't get down into individual people, individual issues.
So don't say the name. Okay.
Did it to you or whoever did it to you. Let's not, because then you'll send me into executive session and all that.
Okay. Yes. Also, I have witnessed, seeing an employee passed away at the job. He explained to the management team at April Brothers that we was forced into a building at the Dobbs, that the air quality was molded out in the building. He told him that his health was not good, an elderly man, and 2 days later, after he made it a statement, he passed away, and there was nothing done about it. Nobody brought it to the attention or stated anything that, that he had passed or that, he had brought it to the issues of everybody else. As piggyback on what Dr. Robinson said, I was basically committed, and I had basically put in statements, emails about the COVID. I would come into work and I wasn't paid. My time, she was actually clocking me out when I was clocking in for the COVID. I was approved to go home with my 3 kids at the time, and therefore I was not even approved to go. I got the approval from downtown, but Ms. April Brothers refused to let me go. She wrote me up. Basically, after I had told her I had been exposed to COVID, some of my employees was exposed to it.
we was riding 5D into a vehicle. I explained to her, I went to Kaiser. Kaiser gave me a doctor excuse to quarantine. At that time, I was asking her what's the proper procedure and what we need to do if we was exposed to COVID. It was never that, oh, we're going to take your COVID, your comp time, but stated that it was just, no, you need to still come to work and give it to the other employees. If you didn't come, I was wrote up several times about the COVID. I do have the write-ups that I did show that I had documentation that I was out with doctor excuses. It became, after I started complaining, I started understanding that Ms. April Brothers had started a virtual meeting with the management team of Daryl Miller, Mr. Derek East, Kathy Rowe, Jerome Bridges, Stephon Robinson, and Mr. Fred. She stated in the meeting, it was recorded, that she was telling them to, hey, when Ms. Harris come back, we're gonna put on the third shift. Mr. Stephon Robinson had DM'd me on several occasions, calling me out my name, cussing me, telling me to come down there to have sex with him. And I asked for protection from PACE, from Gina Patnata. When she found out and got the evidence, she absolutely dropped me as the client because she said she didn't want to be in cahoots with the management department. I ended up winning my case with the sexual harassment, but I was still given the chance that I had to go work with Mr. Stephon Robinson. And I asked for the fear of my life, that I was asking for help again from everybody from City Hall, everybody from management team, even trying to transfer to another department, and there was no help given. And everybody turned their back, and everybody was stating that, just let it go. I've been working again. I was raised in the city of Atlanta, and my mama always taught us, if you see something, you say something. And if I see something going around, I say something. Even to my colleagues, if it's right or wrong, we always put our people in place and say, hey, you was wrong or you was right. But at the time, did nobody come in my defense? Did nobody come here and stop what was going on? As I seen it goes on with other employees, the disrespect. And it is to the point, people start getting scared. Hey, I don't want to speak up because I'm going to lose my job or I'm getting rolled up. People seeing me being harassed and being attacked at work, and they scared to say something because they saying, hey, she coming to me already telling me if I say something, I'm gonna lose my job, or she gonna write me up. And it's just to the point that we all had fear. That is not saying that we were scared, but as human beings, we need our job. This is the only way we make our money. We also stated we never got a raise. That's what we was always saying. They always said they gave us something. We didn't get nothing. Anything we got was supposed to be given to us. We worked our behinds off. And I don't know if y'all know, like I stated many times before. And then it's just the thing that you don't get the understanding that we've been calling out. I grew up, Antonio Lewis, you been knowing me. You know I'm an advocate of the community. Not just me, I bring my kids back into this. My kids volunteer, they always down here. They was just down here last week at the mayor's event. It's just the thing that we as not just black people, but we bring our kids back into our community, the city of Atlanta, because that's the way we were raised. But it's the thing that I did not have nobody in my corner that to explain or even to help out, or even to the point that all I was looking for somebody to tell April to stop. That's all I wanted. Let me come to work and do my job, because nobody can never speak and say that I was not a good employee at my job. I learned from the best of these people right here. It was things I didn't know how to do. These people taught me, trained me. It wasn't about nobody bringing in trainers. We also knew the trainers came in. We didn't learn from them, we learned from each other. And it's the thing, we beautified, we made sure the airport was up and running. We made sure the 139 inspection was passed every year. It wasn't management. They don't even know what it is. Not at all. They don't even know what the requalification is. We making sure that the state don't pick up the airport every year. We making sure that, City of Atlanta maintain this. But then at the same time, it be coming down to the disrespect. We treat it like slavery. I'm being told, hey, and then they all been told that, hey, you get out here at 7:30, you don't come back in here till 2:30 to clock out. We're not even allowed to use the restroom. Okay, I'm over. I'm sorry. Thank y'all.
Mr. Lewis.
And I know how strong you are. I know you as a cheer mom, as a real person where I'm from. I've been knowing you for probably about 20 years, I feel like.
Yep.
And so to hear you tell this story, and I know you, it lets me know. I know my grandmother used to say sometimes we roll with the punches. I know you've been rolling with the punches. You work for the wrong city for that to happen in there, 'cause we can fix it. And so I hope that the administration is listening, because that's who can make this change. I hope they're listening to us. I hope they grab you before you leave here. I hope they grab you before you leave here. They give you a glass of water. Then they talk to you about fixing this. Thank you. Today my first day hearing your full name. I was looking for your name on the list. I'm sorry that you had to come down here. I'm standing with you.
Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished Transportation Committee of the City of Atlanta. I'm here in support of renaming Concourse D, Michael Hollis Concourse. I think I'm the only person here today that really knew Michael when he was real young, because we grew up together on West End Avenue. Julius, you might remember that. From the very beginning, Michael Hollis was special. This brother would wear a suit and tie to school. Now today, it's hard for us to even get our children to pull their pants up. But yet this brother would wear a suit and a tie, and he would carry under his arms a Wall Street Journal. Now, I didn't even know what a Wall Street Journal was until I got out of college. But he carried one. The only thing I carried was a Jet magazine. And the reason I carried that Jet magazine, because what was in the middle of it. Y'all know what I mean? Okay. But this brother was so far of us, he had a Wall Street Journal. But at any rate, we went to Booker T. Washington High School together. And of course, we know we got some Washingtonians here. Okay, good. And then he went on to Dartmouth College, and his business career started after that. I went to Morehouse. But what made Michael Hollis great, and I don't use this term lightly, great, is that he would always think big. Always think big. Y'all remember when the Olympics came around, Michael was telling us, look, he had started Air Atlanta way before then, but he had told us, you entrepreneurs, y'all need to think big. Think big. Don't think of selling T-shirts and baseball caps on the street of Atlanta during the Olympics, but manufacture those items so that you can really benefit. And he told me, George, you need to have your bank at the airport. Hartsfield Airport? Me? We're competing with Bank of America? Yeah, compete with Bank of America. And you know something? We did that. We were the first African-American owned operated bank to operate in the airport because of people like Michael Hollis, who dared, got you to think big, because he thought big. And the legacy need to be out there on that concourse for Michael Hollis. Underneath, think big, because you can do whatever God had placed in you to accomplish. Thank you very much.
Good morning, all. Transportation Committee. I'm Tommy Robbins Jr., a representative for the maintenance employees at Atlanta Airport. I am a graduate of Mays High School with our council member Overstreet. But I come before you today on behalf of these men and women before you. If we didn't show up every day, that airport would close. These executives here could not earn any money if the airport wasn't open. The FAA would shut them down if we didn't do our jobs. Now, I'm here to understand why this $6.30 or any monies that is due my colleagues, why was it withheld from us? You know, we've requested meetings with our top leaderships at the airport, and as Mr. Robinson stated earlier, he still has refused to this day. He set a date, he changed that date, and he wanted to go to a day when everyone is probably off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Those are rotating off days at the airport. We tried to express concerns with our general manager at that time, but allegedly, the meeting has been rescheduled to sometime in April. That's not effective for us. Also, we need some oversight, what have you, in our facilities maintenance where our money is concerned, because they've taken money from my colleagues by changing titles over the last few years, removing airfield from our titles. Also, we need to understand why the hazard pay is not being paid to us. Again, if you work on that airfield, you're exposed to jet fuel, fumes, bird droppings, brake dust, herbicide, anything that's coming out of the grass, it comes up in the air. Of course, you know what the planes need to fly? They need wind. Wind disturbs the air. Where is our money? Just something else I want to understand. Also, got a few notes here, so forgive me for pausing here, but I stand with these men and women before you. You know, we would love to be able to work that 40-hour work week to afford a living in this beautiful city. We asking that you listen to the words and ideas, thoughts, complaints from all the people here before you and the issues. I was not aware of Ms. Harris's case, but it hurts my heart to hear that any of us are mistreated. And if I see something, upon witness it there, and there are some issues that we spoke up and out about, but thank you. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to say thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come down and speak with you all. I've been with the city for about 14 years, and the disrespect is so high there at the airport. It's kind of ridiculous. Ridiculous. I used to love telling people I worked for the city of Atlanta. I was born and raised city of Atlanta. I went to Booker T. Washington High School, along with Byron Amos. But the way we've been treated out there is very unacceptable. I wasn't raised like that. My dad always taught me, I put my pants on just like the next man. You want respect, you gotta give it. And it's just ridiculous. Something needs to be done about it, and done about it today. A year ago, January the 12th, my home was leveled by a tornado. I just moved back in my home about a month ago. And the call that I got from one of my ADs was so disrespectful. I wanted to tell him to go to hell. I to tell them to go to hell, but I thought about my job and my home. I was blessed to have homeowners insurance. But if I had not had homeowners insurance, where would I be today? Because the $4.12 was taken off the table. I would have been trying to figure out how to rebuild my home. So I say that to say, like in the past, my fellow coworkers have said, whatever the amount of money is, if it's given to us, we need it. We wouldn't have to go out and get second jobs and get permission from them to work second jobs. If they did what was right, nobody deserves to be treated like we do. We spend half our life out there at the airport. I work double shifts, days in, days out, weeks in, weeks out. It's been time they sent me home. I work so much overtime, trying to make a living. And for our general manager to stand here and tell us he don't know, or he denied us the 412, very disrespectful. Those planes can't take off and land without us. When it's snowing out there, my first year out there, I spent 14 days out there in the snow without being able to go home. And I felt like I was a part of a real good organization at that time. But today, that feeling has changed. It has changed over the last several years, the last 3 years to be exact. So I say with my heart and my fellow coworkers, I stand here today with them, would you all please consider giving us that 412? Because it's well deserved. It's well deserved.
No, it's earned.
It's earned. It's earned, okay? Because none of us take our job for granted. I broke my leg out there, my second year there, working. So thank you. Just please consider that.
We have Mr. Andrew Hicks. Andrew Hicks.
I think he's donated his time, Councilman.
Is he here? Okay. Who you yielding your time to? Sir? Right up on the room. Okay, Mr. Davis.
Thank y'all for letting us come down here and talk before y'all. I got a heavy heart right now. Excuse me. This is sincerity. I work with a lot of these guys. They got a lot of respect for me. And I'm not crying because of what's going on. I'm crying because I live in one of the greatest cities in this world. Dr. King, Andrew Young, we are not asking for nothing that we don't deserve. I have worked on inclement weather, 12 hours working, driving, doing what I had to do out that airport. I've been doing electrical work for 50 years. I've never been treated. I worked at Ford Motor Company for 22 years. I worked at the IBW for 11 years. I've never been treated the way I've been treated out here, being a senior person. I have certifications. I have ACE, airfield certified electrician. I have state license. I'm well qualified. But these people, for some reason, will not listen to us. They will not do nothing to help our cause. I want to be a part of, you guys get together. Y'all have to come together. Why can't we all at that airport come together and do what we need to do to make that reputation of being the world's busiest airport to the world's greatest airport, with all us working together for one goal. One goal is to what? Do our job to make everybody take off of this airport safe. Because one life is life because of what we didn't do. Our jobs would hurt the reputation of this airport. And I want y'all to know this is from my heart. And I don't care about the politics of it. I want what's done right for all of us so we can all succeed as employees that are tax funded by the city of Atlanta. And I want y'all to know this really hurts me to be down here. I love my job. I love to be out there doing my job. and I'm 70 years old, and I want y'all to understand, I'm speaking for all these young folks. They look up to me. I tell them, work hard, do your best, do no harm to nobody, do what's right. Don't worry about the politics and the circumstances that out here in this job. You got to do your job so those people can take off that airplane and be safe. Councilman, councilperson, council lady, y'all have got to do what's right out there. Make those people do what's right. And I don't want y'all to think my weakness for crying. It's crying because it's from my heart. These are like my sons and daughters, some of them. And they'll tell you, I give them hell when they're wrong, but I'm going to praise them when they're right. And we've been done wrong out there. I've talked to B, I've talked to everybody out there. I talked to Michael. Nobody seems to want to listen to us. And I want y'all to know, y'all got to do something. With this reputation of being the world business airport, the umbrella gonna be lifted up, and you're gonna see what's going on. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
I do. Carmen Denson. Carmen Denson. Okay, we'll hold that for a minute. Derek DeFrites. I know I messed that up. Derek. Okay, Mr. Winfuki. Mr. Winfuki. Sir, you have 3 minutes.
Good morning, good morning. I have some time donated. All right, good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here again today. My heart is with those that earned their positions and are the main people helping people get to where they are, and people need to know how important these people are. My name is Olaolu Winfunke. I have a transportation company, TPU Technologies, Inc. About a week or two ago, I left some proposals with you guys. I'm not sure who's had a chance to look at them and to see the plans that I have and my team has for the city of Atlanta and surrounding areas. I don't recall the name so much, but you can look at me as the gentleman that started the Atlanta Airlines now, because I'm going to be doing very big things. You know, in the future, maybe people will, speak about me, the same way. I'm looking to do big things globally for transportation, but I'm starting here in the city of Atlanta. So if anyone has any questions for me about the proposal that I put out, because we are already working and we do have things set up. We have an app, we have the websites, we have the drivers. We just need help as a minority, I don't see color, but as an individual, as a human being, I hope you guys can see where we are and where we can go. We're looking to hire, within the next 3 years, close to 5,000 people to help with the transportation. As I stated, here in the city of Atlanta and surrounding areas. Today, I hear many things from different passengers. I know we have taxi drivers, we have limo drivers, and we have apps like that are in the App Store to transport people places. But on a daily basis, I continue to hear people say that they're not they're afraid that they're not going to be able to get to where they want to get to. They can't get from the international airport to the domestic airport. They can't, sometimes the drivers, they go on strike and there's no transportation. It's like there's nothing set in place to where somebody can, I mean, I guess you can kind of call me an advocate for the transportation, for transportation, because I don't know if anybody, for the past few weeks or the past few months, and I've been watching these videos of these meetings, no one has really come up here and spoken about transportation, of how I speak of it and what I'm trying to do or what I will be doing, because I know it's going to happen. You know, I'm not sure that moment, but I know it's going to happen. I'm going to be successful. My company's going to hire a lot of people anyways. So, yeah, so basically, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have looked over the proposals, I'm looking to sit down with each of you, or maybe as a group, to see what we can actually do to get the transportation situation going on. I'm looking to get about, because you know the Braves, they're coming. The 2026, we have the soccer game, aka football, coming up as well. We have many events. I'm an attendee for the MODEX that's going on for logistics, because we will be getting into logistics in the future, but right now we're just transporting humans and getting people where they need to go. So I would like to sit down with whomever and make a meeting, because like as I said, you know, we started in 2015, and I want to have something in place to where people are happy and not worrying about if they're going to have something to eat the next day. I want to be that individual, because my drivers right now, we're eating. We are. So I want to make sure the dispatch team, I want to make sure the limo drivers, the taxi drivers, I want to make sure everyone comes together and are able to make money together, not be separate. So once again, my name is Olaolu Winfunke, President and CEO of TPU Technologies, Inc., also known as Timed Pickups. I want to see everybody happy. I also have like a little bit of wisdom as well, because of the things that I do outside of the transportation. So what I could, if there's a message that I can give to you guys, I would say continue to be who you are, continue to be strong. You know, everything that is happening right now is there's a catalyst. The things that you guys are doing, there's a change that is going to happen, because people are hearing you. We hear you. You know, I hear you personally, and I don't want to give my heart out to you guys. You know, for those that are working hard and getting what they earned. If the people that they feel can give it to them can give it to them, so everything is earned. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Oh, so you don't want to, who are you? Perfect, okay. So you have 3 minutes there, Ms. King, you will be, so you're not going to speak at all, Ms. Denson? Okay.
Where that camera at? What is it? Afternoon. Good morning. My name is Lexis King. I've been with the city for 5 years, and that'll be in November. Right now, I'm on administrative leave. And around this same time last year, I was terminated. That came from, well, both incidents came from me speaking on issues upon the crew to my supervisor. And so I guess my supervisors were like upset about it, so they went to management. And when I spoke with management, Ms. April Borders, she asked me if I would keep everything in-house in between me and her. So the next day when I returned to work, I was actually, my badge was taken because I did contact downtown because I knew that I needed to fight for my job. So the next day when I was terminated, I contacted downtown again to ask them what was going on. And when I spoke with someone over the phone, she said, well, Ms. King, is showing that you turned in resignation forms showing that I resigned. And I was telling her, well, I have 2 kids that I raised with the help of my mom, so I would never just resign from a job that we need. So after I was out for 4 months with that, and I was brought back. They told me that I had to be brought back under the conditions of 2 random drug tests, and I've never given a positive test or anything. So I did agree to the conditions because I needed my job at the time. And ever since I've been back, I've just been harassed. I feel like it's a lot of bullying going on. And yeah. Yes. I don't know that. So Mr. Antonio Lewis and what's her name? Ms. Norwood?
No, Miss Overstreet. Miss Overstreet.
Miss Overstreet and Mr. Antonio Lewis. I'm just up here right now to try to figure out how do I go about getting my job and keeping it without being harassed. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Lewis. That's King.
I want your full name. I apologize.
Lexis King.
Can we have someone from HR please look into Alexis King's case and come over and let us know what's going on and talk with her before she leaves today? Are you going to be here for the entire public comment?
Yes.
And so I know if someone from HR can, I know they're watching, if someone can come grab Miss Alexis King and talk to her about her case so she can feel a little bit better and talk about how we can, whatever's going on, so we can get her back in. Someone from HR, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Denson, you have 3 minutes.
Council member, there was a gentleman, Mr. Reese, that was on the list. You call his name. He didn't yield this time. I think he signed up to speak, but I think you called him as a yield.
Yes,
Oh, he said he signed.
Chris Reese Jr. Yep, it says yield to Brother Muhammad. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's get Miss Denson to speak, and then we'll go from there.
Good day, all. I'm really up here speaking for my daughter who just walked off, Lexis King, because ever since she been hired, she been harassed. She was pregnant. They had her putting blowers on her back, weed eating, and I ended up delivering her baby because the baby came early in my car. So we back here again, a year, not even a year later, and she's on administrative leave. So they really paint her as a drug addict, because every time you turn around, they want to give her a drug test, but she's never gave them any suspicion. And it's just a target on the youth, the young people, the young adults. It's like an age discrimination. And when she go through it, I go through it, because she have kids, and they're my grandkids. So she been crying and upset since she just got put on administrative leave a week ago, because she wrote a statement on her supervisor. And the same day, they sent her to get a drug test. When she went to take the test, which she sat 2 hours down there to do, when she went to the back, they wanted 2 people in the bathroom with her. And she had personal issues during that time that they didn't know. And then she refused. She refused to take the test. Because why do you want to be in the bathroom with somebody? Why are you putting 2 people? They don't know what she probably been through in life. So it's just a lot of harassment on the young people, and I'm really just tired of it. And also with the hazardous pay, I wanted to piggyback off the hazardous pay. Every day we walk through bird feces. Every day on our shoes, sitting at our desk, taking it in the office with us. So that's a hazard in itself. I'm in the stock room, and the planes sit right, we can walk out the door, it's planes lined up. It's a chance that a plane can fly into the building. It's just a hazard for all of us out there.
Sir.
Okay, and so I wanted to speak on the hazardous pay, but mainly my daughter, because I'm just tired of them harassing her and treating her like a drug addict, and she's not on drugs. You know, and that's the picture that everybody see of her when she walk through the building. Everybody thinking she a drug addict, and she's not. So I would appreciate if somebody from HR can help my daughter. Like she said, keep her job. She has a 9-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. And I'm the only help she has. So, you know, we just want them to leave her alone and possibly take her off administrative leave, because she's on administrative leave because she spoke out again against a supervisor. So, yeah, I took them her badge and her tablet that they requested. So we don't know when she's gonna return. So. Thank you.
And Derek, since I'm gonna butcher your name, you yield your time to her. Is Derek here? Okay. You have 6 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, good morning. Good day, y'all. First, I'd like to say Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is such a beautiful place, but once you uncover and peel back the different layers, you find us, the maintenance department, the workers that go unseen, the hard workers to help beautify and keep Hartsfield-Jackson beautiful as it is. In addition to that, while peeling back and uncover Hartsfield-Jackson, the maintenance department is so ugly. And I'm not talking about physically, but I'm talking about, you know, the attitudes, the mistreatment, even the way that they talk down, condescending to my coworkers and myself. My name is Belinda Fleming. I'm an airport inventory specialist too, and I've currently been working for the Department of Aviation in City of Atlanta for 10 years this June. I'm very passionate, and I have tremendous empathy for my fellow coworkers' safety and well-being. Over the course of my tenure, I witnessed the morale and value of my coworkers decline with each new administration. The new set of administrators under Chris Jackman do not pour into hardworking employees. Instead, not distract us, but they stressed us for number one, make us feel like we're not valuable, major players of the department. Instead of supporting us with our essential pay, which being taken away from us, instead of being supported with essential pay, we've been taken away from our families, and hazardous pay for risking our lives every day by inhaling the fumes of the jet fuels, bird feces, and the chemicals you guys put on the grass. They give us barbecues and a meeting saying, hey, we value you, but it's not heartfelt. It's literally, I don't know about my coworkers, but it goes in one of our ears and come out the other. We need our $4.12 at the minimum. And we would greatly, appreciate the $6.30. I'm a victim of sexual assault. I'm switching channels here. I'm a victim of sexual assault. I initially reported the sexual assault to Jerome Brunage. Instead, he looked at all, but he did nothing. A sexual assault against my manager, Bruce Smith. Went to a lot of therapy sessions just to get his name out. And they did nothing. Instead, I was met with retaliation by Cynthia Carr. Instead, treating me like I'm the victim. They treating Bruce like he's the victim. All I did was report what happened. The retaliation that I experienced, I got looked over 2 promotions. I got placed on the shift. Now that I look back, all the veterans, my co-worker, if you could raise your hand, Jeff, Francis, Felix, Carmen, Tracy, we're all veterans and we have over 10 years in the stock room. All the new hires are on first shift. They recently closed down third shift, and mind you, maintenance department is a 24-hour operation, and it's very critical that we have all 3 shifts, first, second, and third. They recently closed down third shift where Francis Jefferson and Felix Montalvo work, causing them to shift their whole lives around. For what we didn't get no explanation. They haven't even gave them the decency or, asking them what shift they wanted to work on. Instead, they were like, here, you're going on second shift and figure it out. Willie Willis, let me say, I believe he recommended it and Cynthia Carr just simply sign off on it. He's our supervisor. Okay, let me get back on track with my sexual assault. Since I came out against my manager, Bruce Smith, for what he have done to me, other young women came out telling me and sharing their stories about the sexual harassment that they endured. One, Carmen Denson, also was harassed by Bruce Smith, but she doesn't believe her story will go far because it was just a simple gesture. Yearly we keep going after these trainings. We it's been shoved down our throats, take the training constantly, but nobody ever talked about the victims. Nobody ever about the healing process. And I'm still dealing. This happened to me over a year ago. And just because I look happy doesn't mean I'm always happy on the inside. I'm just keeping quiet because, again, I don't want to be retaliated against. Since I came out, other women, okay, we talked about that. Sexual harassment and discrimination tends to be a trending thing against management at Department of Aviation, and it has to be stopped. If we're going to stand beside Hartsfield-Jackson being the busiest airport and being so beautiful, it also have to thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to take up too much time. I want to thank you guys in advance for granting us what we came here for. I want to thank every one of my coworkers for coming and Dr. Robinson for standing in front of you guys and fighting for that for us. What I want to speak on is the disconnect and the disrespect between us and management. They don't respect us. They don't buy us uniforms anymore. If you look around, most of these uniforms are borrowed or used. I have one uniform that I have to wash every day of the week. We don't have new equipment, new trucks, but we look outside and management has so many electric Mustangs, they can't even hide them anymore, right? We haven't been given anything but a 75 cent, which is 3.5% cost of living. We was deemed essential during COVID. Essential workers got a 10% cost of living, and we only got 3.5. It was also said that a lot of people on the 4th floor got a $30,000 bonus, but we're the ones that's out there doing all the work. It's very dangerous, the job that we do. It's a hazard every time we go out there. Calling on the airfield could get you fired if you don't do it correctly. Driving in loud tractors, cutting grass at night, and having to worry about a plane behind you, or a fox running out in front of your tractor, or cutting over 85, looking down 285 and knowing that one wrong move, you can be dead. We don't get compensated for that. We don't get thanked. It seems as they look at us as janitors, and no disrespect to a janitor, but when we walk past them, his attitude, they look at us like we don't belong. They kicked us out of building 1 because it was told that they just didn't want to see us anymore. Right now, we have a lot of people that stand in Dobbs building. That building is not meant for us to be in. They have notes on the wall saying that the ward is infested. It's been like that for the past 6-7 months. It's rat infested. And as of now, we are understaffed, but they're planning to move us into a building that we are over capacity for. And we're being told to just deal with it. So right now we're understaffed, but we're over capacity for a new building that we're about to move into, and we don't even know how we're going to survive. Right, last COVID, it was 5 people to a truck, even though it was mandated that it shouldn't be. If something were to happen today, I don't know where this department would go. All I know is that it's a lot of people that's returned, and it's a lot of us that's young, and if we continue to be disrespected, it won't be no one here but contractors. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. It appears that ends public comment. Thank you. And it appears my 2 colleagues that wanted to have the questions from aviation, unless there's some specific questions that my colleagues have, and if we get into, but you already know, if we get into specific personnel issues, we're gonna have to go into executive session, but I don't think that gets them the answers they're looking for. And we may not be able to get there today, so if you could just comment, and then Councilmember Hill, this will one if you have specific questions.
Good morning. I'm not sure what your questions are that you'd like to have us to address right now.
Matters, and I expect the airport General Manager B is not here, so
Yes,
but
sir.
someone needs to respond to this. These are very concerning issues. There's the overarching issue of pay. There's the 412 versus the 630 that other departments have implemented, as others have stated. I want and I know we can't get into the specifics, but very concerning that multiple ladies that work at the airport have reported sexual harassment, and that doesn't seem like it's being handled. The obvious mistreatment, even seeing men up here crying. It's not every day that you see that. Water issues, you can't drink the water, rats, and to hear that these men and women aren't provided uniforms or a uniform allowance. So those are the notes I wrote down and want to hear from the airport as to, how did we get this far and what is being done about this?
Thank you, Councilman. I will say on behalf of the General Manager who is traveling to D.C. today that these are very important people to the airport. And I cannot dispute, as they've said, without them, the airport does not function. Part 139. We do understand what that is, and we understand that everybody should be respected. And for that, that cannot be tolerated from the department or anybody in the department. I can't speak to specifics about any of the harassment that's taking place. That should be reported up to HR and through labor relations. And so I'd have to defer to the Department of HR for those things. I will say that the department did meet. There were representatives from the Department of Human Resources and from our management, our DGM over the facilities and operations, met with representatives and met with folks from maintenance on yesterday, I understand, for a few hours to discuss these issues of whether or not there's additional pay that is necessary, and that will be looked into. So again, we do take these issues very seriously, and we'll look into those matters.
Maybe I missed it, but what is the response regarding the providing of uniforms or an allowance for those uniforms, and also the facility issues where they cannot drink the water or there are rats present?
Regarding the uniforms, I wasn't aware that we were not, providing for uniforms. So I will personally, follow up with the department on that issue. Regarding issues of the Dobbs building, those facilities are being phased out. There is a new facility that is being built. It's an $18 million facility that is near construction. Individuals say that it is not large enough. It may not be, but again, it is going to be a new facility that will be available for
18 billion.
Vegas, but I just want to thank all the women and gentlemen for coming down here and bringing this to our attention. Don't wait this long again. You all are welcome to come down here any day, any time. Call us on our phone, send us an email. We need to know updates and if things are getting better. So thank you all.
Thank you. And I want to actually stand in solidarity with you all. I'm so thankful that you came down and expressed your stories that I know could not be easy to share with the public, and you shouldn't have to. So I really do thank you for giving us all of the details that we received today. Your pride and commitment to your jobs and your careers was very evident today. I'm a retiree of Delta Airlines. I love the aviation industry very much. I've worked hand in hand and side by side with many departments throughout the airport for decades. So I understand the commitment. I've seen the work that you do firsthand for decades, weathering all storms, 24/7. There's no such things as nights, weekends, and holidays. I really and truly do appreciate the work that you do. I've already spoken with people over in the, with the leadership over in the administration. They too are, ready to handle these situations that you guys have brought before us head first. And they have assured me that they hear you and that they understand how council feels now about what you all are going through. I think your stories are very real and very valid. And I agree with Councilmember Hillis. This door is open. Don't wait in the future. You guys come forward so that we'll know exactly what we're dealing with. The same way I fought for hazard pay for everyone, I definitely think you all deserve it. The fumes, the bird poop, and everything in between is valid. So thank you very much for coming today, and I give you my word that we're going to have constant conversation about this until we get some clarity and definite answers and solutions, things that you all deserve. So thank you.
And once again, I want to say I stand in solidarity with you on this. I'm part of the same T-shirt you're part of on this. I think that our mayor, I think we have a really good mayor, a good man in the mayor's office. That's why you came down here and said this. I think you felt the in-between people between you and the mayor. I think that the mayor heard you on 412 and on 630. That's the conversation, right? 412, 630, then let's fix the other thing. I think our mayor gonna draw a circle around you on this. And I think that we have the right mayor for that. Sometimes we got people who work for him who are getting in between it. So you've been very specific on what you want, and I know that the mayor's office has heard it. The next thing I want to say is I come out of work, I'm a union organizer. I'm a union organizer. That's why I always say I come out of working for AFSCME. And so when you get together a group of folks like this and you come down and talk in front of city council, I understand what you're nervous about right now. I understand what you're nervous about right now. So I want to say thank you for this list. And we got to make council, we got to do whatever we can do to make sure, Councilmember Warren, Councilmember Hill, is to make sure that nobody on this list is released within a year. We got to at least, they got to have some real credit, real information on why they do something to anybody on this list, because the braveness of people that come down here on this is real. And I think not only us, I think we need the mayor to get a copy of this list, not somebody who worked for him, right? Because we put the mayor in the office, he's from Adamsville, I'm from Cleveland Avenue. That's why I always plead to the mayor from Adamsville to give 412 or 630 and to protect the people on this list. And we need our mayor to do that, not the people under him. And so we hear y'all have tried to talk to your management. They got managers, they work in the administration. We want to get through that. We want to talk to the man we put in office who we know gonna draw a circle around, right? And so I think that's why we're here today. I heard you full out. We need the mayor to go 412 or 630. Then let's fix the other issues after that. We want our money first, and this is a good job. We don't want y'all to leave. We want to keep the airport going. We want to grow. I'm team y'all. I'm team y'all full out. Let's go.
Councilmember Moore.
I'll be quick. I'm for one, I'm not satisfied with the response we just got from the aviation representative. Mr. Chair, I'd like Councilmember Hillis did a great job of enumerating all the issues that were brought up. Mr. Chair, I would ask that we get a written response to each one of those by the next committee meeting, and that we ask the GM to be here if we have additional questions. I think that's really the most fitting way to address all of these issues. So,
Okay, thank you. Mr. Overton, you got Ms. Lewis.
And I think we asked two questions at the beginning of the committee meeting. I don't know if I misheard them, but I know when Mr. Robinson reminded me of how we were able to help the watershed workers get their funding. And they got their money by the commissioner basically in that meeting, she gave it to him right there. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what we could do as a city until I seen that happen. So I posed the first question, same thing now, because I don't know what we could do as a city, but I saw the watershed department because I knew they were on their own and they create their own funding. I know the airport, we talk about record funding. That's the one thing we keep talking about. The airport is doing well. Shovels are in the ground, but the people that are putting the shovels in the ground are saying we ain't right. And so they're saying they ain't make us right. And so what I want to know is, the first question I asked is if someone from the administration or someone from the airport, because I've seen Commissioner Browning do that. I want to know if we can y'all make that decision? Who makes this decision? On who makes the question that I asked Commissioner Browning, and I got an answer from her that day, was who makes the decision on the 412 for the employees in Watershed, and how can we get it? And what she said, Commissioner Browning said to us then was, I make that decision, and along with concert with the administration, and she made that agreement right there, and they left with their 412. So I want to know who makes that decision so that we can know who we need to be meeting with.
Well, Councilman, certainly I don't make that decision. So it is an administration decision. It is something that gets approved up the line. So there has been discussions about the 412 or 630.
I know you all had that all yesterday, and what monies are available. So that would have to be something that has to be done by the administration, sir.
Talk about, I apologize, I'm a yield right here. I apologize, Mr. Amos. I thank you for allowing me to speak. But I would like to say the airport got money. We see it. No money in the airport can be spent outside of the airport. We understand that. And so now let's grow. And the folks there work in the airport. So I don't know what we can do. It ain't my job to know that portion. It's my job to listen to the constituents and try to fix it. And so it sounds like the administration makes that decision. So that means the mayor makes that decision.
Yes, sir.
And so I know y'all are going over to the second floor after that. And that's something I know the airport got money. The airport got money. We ain't gonna move like the airport don't got money. Last thing, HR, I know we requested that HR can come talk to two young ladies who had some real issues. And I don't know if anyone is here. We got two people here from HR right now. And so the two young ladies who I know for sure had real issues, if you come over here, I can introduce you to HR and make sure we can move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Smith. You know, to my airport workers, I know you came down here looking for something very specific today. You may not have gotten it, but we're moving toward that. I know one or two of you, but I used to be you. I used to be DOA security overnight. So I used to see y'all out there doing the work that you do. When it snowed, I was out there with you. So, I mean, we are not a perfect city, but I think this process moves us closer and closer to it every day. So as you know, Mr. Lewis has said, everyone has said, stay in the fight. We know it's hard, stay in the fight. You have a listening ear. I truly believe we have a listening ear at the airport as well. We just have to figure out how to get in the room, make the sausage, and make Atlanta the city that we all know we can love and we can be. So thank you for coming down today. All right, with that being said, that takes us to our regular agenda. Mr. Overton.
Thank you, Chairperson, Councilman Hillis, Councilman Warren, Councilman. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Item number 1 is 24-0-1054, an ordinance by Councilmember Keisha Shawn Waits as amended by the Transportation Committee to rename Finley Avenue Northwest to Brittany Glover Drive Northwest, to waive certain provisions of Section 138-8 in the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
Good. There's a motion that's been made to hold. Is there a second? Motion been made in second. Please open the vote.
Can we repeat the second? Mr. Chair, can we repeat the second? Who was the seconder?
Hillis.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Thank you. It'll be held in committee. Next item.
Item number 2, 24-01107, an ordinance by the Transportation Committee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to correct Ordinance 23-01553, adopted by the Atlanta City Council on October 16, 2023, and approved per city charter section 2-403 on October 25, 2023, by removing the incorrect funding source and replacing it with the correct funding source. All other parts of the legislation remain unchanged and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Motion has been made in second. In discussion, please open the vote.
Can we repeat the seconder? The static's kind of getting in the way. Overstreet. Vote is open. Can all council members please vote? Vote is closed.
It's favorable. Next item.
Item number 3, 24-01108, an ordinance by the Transportation Committee to authorize the mayor or his designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to use speed detection devices on state routes and off-system routes within the City of Atlanta as approved by the Georgia Department of Transportation, to establish and specify speed limits on state routes and off-system routes within the City of Atlanta for other purposes. Mr. Chair, there is a request for motion to amend this item. The amendment is to include the attachment Exhibit A, list of roadways.
Motion was made and second. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed.
So it has been amended. So we have a motion to add, desire to add Councilmember Lewis' name to this paper. But it's done by the committee. Yes, committee paper. So you're already on there. Okay. So just say you're gonna withdraw that. So motion to approve. Motion has been made and second to approve. Any discussion? Open the vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed.
It's favorable. Next item.
Next item, item number 4, 24-01129, an ordinance by council members Byron B. Amos, Andrea L. Boone, Michael Julian Bond, and Matt Westmoreland to authorize the naming of Concourse D located at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the Michael R. Hollins Concourse, to waive certain provisions of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 138, Article 1, Section 138-9, related to the dedication of public places within the City of Atlanta, which are not applicable where a dedication is needed by the City of Atlanta, to waive certain additional notice requirements contained in Section 138-8 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, to waive the requirement that the ordinance be placed in the agenda of the affected neighborhood planning units for additional purposes at Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2-2 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
I believe we have a substitute for this paper. Second, motion has been made and second. In discussion.
I also would like to add my name to the paper.
And in that same one, we'd like to add Councilmember Overstreet to the paper. Anyone else? Councilmember Hillis? So open the vote to bring forward the substitute with the added two names.
Can we repeat the motion, the mover and the seconder, please?
I was the mover and Overstreet was the second.
Vote is open.
So the substitute, someone from the airport wanted to speak to the paper. Smith?
Good morning. Michael Smith, Deputy. And do understand what he contributed to the airport. What we wanted to do with the substitute was make sure that we were talking ceremonial in terms of signage and whatever, but we would not be changing any of the operational issues. There are a lot of things that come forth with, as we have the concourses named A, B, C, and D, on tickets, on other wayfinding measures, so as not to confuse the public, but at the same time, respect the wishes of council to honor Mr. Hollis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of Transportation Committee. LaShondra Burks, Deputy Chief Operating Officer. Just wanted to join the comments from the airport and also on the administration side as well, in support of honoring Mr. Hollis for his accomplishments, and definitely know that he is worthy and deserving of honors that is being recommended to be bestowed upon him around a ceremonial plaque. But also just wanted to say, we have a history, we have a great history in Atlanta of how we name our public facilities and the process that we go through for that. And we have done that time and time again. So again, we are definitely supportive from an administration standpoint. Mayor Dickens certainly supports, respects the history, the legacy of Mr. Hollis, but also just a reminder of our public process that we have whenever we are working on changing a name or honoring an individual in the city of Atlanta. So thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
It's not because I don't believe the honoree is worthy of it. It's all on process. So the waiving of the MPU requirement, we just held a paper that we sent back from full council because we wanted to make sure it did have the MPU process on it. And here we are about to try and waive that completely. And then the other piece is, as I'm looking at the substitute against the original paper, there are a couple of other provisions of the code that were waived, as mentioned in the original paper, that are no longer included in the substitute, and I wanted to know if we are in fact still waiving those or not. And so there's unreadiness on my part for those two reasons, and I just don't know if anybody, whoever prepared the substitute, can answer that and get me comfortable.
So, Mr. Warren, if I could just add from the administration standpoint, we did not see this before it was introduced last Monday, so we were not a part of the writing of it. We were just asked to come and offer our comments around where we are with the actual substitute that was submitted today.
The substitute, is there a compelling reason in terms of why we would bypass the MPU process and explicitly call it out in the caption? That makes me even more nervous, the fact that it's even in the caption that we're waiving it. So I know my MPUs would kind of vilify me if I did this. So I don't know if anybody can speak to that.
Good morning, Vivica Brown, City of Atlanta, Department of Law. Councilmember Juan, I'm not sure which paper you have in your possession, but the substituted paper does not mention the MPU because the substituted paper should be a ceremonial renaming. Okay. So we will get a copy over for you all to take a look at this. If it's a ceremonial renaming of Concourse D, and I think Mr. Smith will talk a little bit more about it not impacting the operational, directional signage for passengers to avoid confusion, we'd be happy to get that copy for you.
Review, or do we still need that anyway?
Well, it's my understanding that to waive the requirement that the ordinance be placed on the agenda for the affected. Let me take a look at that. Let me just take a look at that.
This is a big deal for me, and I hope it would be for our other district council members as well. So I'm going to make a substitute motion to hold.
Okay.
Y'all need to get this straight because I don't want to set us up for issues coming back at us. And then I also would ask if depending on if that motion carries or not, let's take a look at the other language from the original paper in terms of other sections of the code that we're waiving.
Sure.
And if we need to include it in the substitute, let's do that.
We'll be happy to take a look
So I'll see if my motion holds or not, but that's my position. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
So there has been a motion to hold. Is there a second? So there's been a motion to hold and there's a second. Any discussion on that? On your Lewis, what's the second? There's a motion to hold and a second. I'd like to make a substitute motion that we send this forward on the condition that we. It's not in order. Gotcha. Okay. So we're going to so there's time for discussion on the motion to hold. So Ms. Lewis, you was already up. Is that what you're saying to be directed toward this motion? Okay.
Councilmember Warren, I understand what you're saying. I'm nervous about that slippery slope. We do know that the if there was an MPU for the airport, it would be MPU-Z, I think is actually on there. And Ms. Shirley Nichols, I think she would, and Ms. Ann Phillips, I think they would be involved in this conversation. And I know I didn't get an opportunity to even look at this as well. So if there was an MPU discussion, it would probably be MPU-Z. And I think they would want to be in it. And so, but if not, slippery slope of what happens is I live in a district with a lot of streets named after Confederate soldiers, and they're trying to change names. I'm thinking about last week we had folks in here talking about renaming a road, renaming Lee Street, Colin Powell Jr. Road. And we also had folks saying that road should be named Councilperson Michael Julian Bonds Senior Road. I also had people saying that name should be named Marvin Arrington Senior Road. And so I can see this slippery slope happening. So for that reason, I did second this motion. But I am supportive of renaming this concourse D. I am supportive of that.
Any more speakers? Okay. So there's a motion in front of us to hold. Open the vote.
Vote is open.
The motion fails. So we're back into discussion. Councilman Willis?
I would make a motion to move forward with no recommendation on condition that law get this answer and a possible substitute to this substitute that corrects these issues. If indeed this is not a requirement of a ceremonial renaming, then we need a new substitute and be told that. So I would make again a motion, no recommendation on condition that we get answers and possibly a fresh substitute from law by Monday's council meeting.
The motion has been made and second. I'd just like to say, as the original author of this paper, I have spoken to the administration, and they have enlightened me as far as the process. Process concerns me as well. So there will be a lot of conversation between here and Monday when it comes to this paper, because we did not include the administration. We did not include the Federal Aviation Administration or the airport. And those are partners that really should have been at the table when we're taking this Herculean effort. So with that motion, I would definitely ensure that we have those conversations to ensure that everybody's at the table so we can get this right the first time. So for the vote.
Vote is closed.
I want to make it very clear that I'm not disputing whether the honor is worthy or not. I just have concerns about process, and given exactly what the author said about the need to consult with all these different agencies, I just think that should be done here in committee versus sending it on to full council without having that homework done. But I respect the body's will on this one, and we'll talk about it on Monday.
Ms. Lewis.
I would just like to say we've set a new precedent, and I would like to know if we continue to move. Now that we've seen folks vote for naming something without going through certain processes, I'd like to know that we just set a new precedent, and I will be a part of using this as well. Thank you.
That takes us to our next item.
Before we move on to our next item, Mr. Chair, can I read the substituted caption real quick into the record? It's item number 4. An ordinance by council members Byron D. Amos, Marcy Colley Overstreet, Dustin Hillis, Andrea L. Boone, and Michael Julian Bond, as substituted by the Transportation Committee. An ordinance to authorize the ceremonial naming of Concourse D located at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the Michael R. Hollis Concourse, to waive the requirement that the ordinance be placed on the agenda of the affected neighborhood planning units for informational purposes at Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2-2 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
Thank you.
24R3294. A resolution by council members Byron D. Amos and Dustin Hillis authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to execute a project management agreement with the Path Foundation, a Georgia nonprofit corporation, for the Silver Comet Connector MacArthur Boulevard Northwest project in an amount not to exceed $500,000.00. All contractor work be charged to and paid from the fund, department, and organization and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Mr. Chair, there is a request for a motion to amend this item. The amendment adds a project management agreement and makes some minor language changes to allow for that to happen.
Second. So motion has been made and second. Any discussion? Open the vote.
Vote is open. Overstreet.
The amended is before us. Motion to approve. Motion been made and second. Any discussion? Have Councilmember Hillis for discussion.
Yeah, first, thank you, Chairman Amos, for introducing this in my absence last week. But just want to say briefly, I'm excited about this project. This is part of getting a connection between the Beltline and our Chattahoochee River. That'll be going through District 9 by the World Cup in 2026. So I know a lot of departments are working on this, planning, watershed, transportation, parks, and others. And this is a goal of Mayor Dickens as well, to get this done by the World Cup, not just this section, but all the way to the river. So looking forward to that and fully supportive. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item.
The next item is item number 6. A resolution by Councilmember Alex Swan requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Morosco Drive Northeast and Morosco Way Northeast and the intersection of Morosco Way Northeast and Morosco Place Northeast an all-way stop-controlled intersection, and to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
Second by Councilmember Lewis. Any discussion? Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Favorable. Next item.
Next item, item number 7, 24R3347, a resolution by the Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to exercise renewal option number 2 for special procurement SP-S-1220278 for print and mail services for the Atlanta Department of Transportation and AtlantaPrintandMail.com Incorporated on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation for a term of 1 year, beginning on March 24th, 2024, and ending on March 27th, 2025, with no additional funding required and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. In discussion, seeing none, please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Item is favorable. Next item.
Next item, item number 8, 24R3348, a resolution by the Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to execute a project management agreement with the West Side/Howell Mill Community Improvement District for the 17th Street Sidewalk Installation Project, and to execute any required agreements for the project participation and implementation in an amount not to exceed $1,007,543.00, authorizing and appointing the West Side Howell Mill Community Improvement District to act as the City of Atlanta's implementation and construction manager for the listed project. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein, and for other purposes. There is a motion to amend this item, or a request for a motion to amend this item. The amendment adds the project management agreement and makes minor language adjustments in the legislation to allow for that to happen.
Motion to amend by Hillis, second by Amos. Any discussion? Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Item is amended. Motion to approve. Second by Hillis.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Item is favorable. Next item.
Next item is item number 9, 24R3349, a resolution by the Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into an amendment with ALD Development Corporation doing business as Airport Dimensions for agreement FC-6149 for Airport Common Use Lounge third-party management on Concourse F at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Second by Hillis. Discussion, Mr. Councilman.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, in the body of the legislation, whereas clause, it says the base term of the agreement is 10 years, but it has the number 7 in it. Which is it?
Is there someone from Mr. Smith? If you could, Mr. Smith is just walking in. There was a question. Councilman
Repeat it.
Vaughn, if you could repeat
So
it.
in the fourth whereas clause, it says the base term of the agreement is 10 years, but it has the number 7 in parentheses. So I just want to know which one it is. Is it actually 10 or is it 7?
I take it you're speaking toward the,
Item number 9.
yeah, it should be 7. We're correct, that's it.
So I'm going to make a substitute motion to approve on condition of the appropriate substitute on Monday that reflects that.
I second. Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Right.
Vote is closed.
The item is favorable. Next item.
Item number 10, 24R3350, a resolution by the Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute an agreement for contract number listed herein for Concourse E power equipment replacement for Phase 1 of the MV switchgears and substantiations at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with NSMS3, a joint venture comprised of McCarthy Building Companies, New South Construction, and Synergy Development Partners, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $96,222,328.00. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Item is favorable. Next item.
Next item, item number 11, 24R3351. Authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute an agreement for a contract number listed herein for planning and support services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with Jacobson Daniels plus Valencourt Joint Venture in an amount not to exceed $500,000. As listed herein and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Motion has been made and second. Any discussion? Open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Item is favorable. Next item.
Next item is item number 12, 24R3352, a resolution by the Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute a renewal option number 1 for RFPS 1210028 for on-call engineering services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with the Corporate Environmental Risk Management, LLC, on behalf of the Department of Aviation for a term of 2 years, effective March 30th, 2024 through March 29th, 2026 on a task order basis and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Item is favorable. Committee, I'm being asked to jump to item number 25. Is that correct?
Item number 25 by the Department of Aviation. There is a substitute for this item.
Second. Motion has been made to bring forward the substitute. Open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. Let me read I'll read the caption.
Is before us.
A substitute resolution by the Transportation Committee, a substitute by authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute an agreement for RFP-DOA-2212-1230200 airfield driver training simulators with the Environmental Tectonics Corporation at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport on behalf of the Department of Aviation for a term of 5 years with 1 3-year renewal options in an amount not to exceed $951,715.37. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. The substitute changes the fiscal year 2024 account number.
Motion has been made by Councilmember Juan, second by Amos. Any discussion? Open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed.
Item is favorable. I don't think there are any dual referred items. Item number 26. Is that right?
Item number, the appointee had to leave early, so we're going to take that at the next meeting.
Okay. So I don't see any dual referred, and there's no papers coming off Hill. Is that correct? So I think that brings us to the end of our legislative agenda. Yeah. Motion to adjourn? So you don't know yet.